Hey, good afternoon, guys. Tennessee Yankee. Welcome back to the channel. Hey, today we're going to try our hand at putting together a fence picket planter box. I bought some plans off of Etsy from a guy named the BackFortyCraftsman. Here's his logo. And I reached out to him and said I wanted to do a video on putting together his planter box, and he said, yeah, go for it. So I'll be sure to post a link in the description to his page where he has tons of plans of things made out of cedar. But what I want to do is just kind of follow along on his instructions and put this one together myself. I actually bought enough materials for 2 of them. And I've already cut the materials, so you won't get to see that, but I'll talk a little bit about that and what you're going to need. And let's see if we can't accomplish this together. Okay, so what you see on my bench here is all the components for 2 of these planter boxes, and they're already cut. So what's cool about this is basically just a cedar fence picket, like for a fence, and then you do all the cuts. So the material to get started with this called, if you're just doing 1 planter box, it calls for 7 fence pickets, and it calls for 1 2x2 by 8, which I had a hard time finding any 2x2s. I think that's kind of a seasonal thing for red cedar. So what I did is I just bought a 2x4 and I ripped it in half. So that's what we got right here. So far I got my miter saw time into this and my table saw time. You could get by with circular saw or something, but certainly easier if you have those tools. So, and then here's, we had to put some 45s on for the top of the fence picket. And then these little pieces here are going to be to hold the bottom in. But yeah, everything you see here is basically out of the fence picket except for this 1 2x4x8 that I ripped. So since I have everything cut, I'll kind of go through the cut list for you. But the first thing we needed was 4 of the 2x2 by 17.5 inch legs. And these are actually 1.5 by 1.5 since I ripped the 2x4. And then this here is the, we need 9 5.5 inch by 16 inch. So basically the fence picket is 5.5 inches and you're just cutting 9 of these to 16 inches. And this is for the short sides and the bottom. And then these are the long sides, which are 6 pieces cut to 17 inches. Then we have the trim, first piece of trim here, which is 4 pieces. And these need to be ripped down to 2.5 inches. And then they're 17.5 inches long. And then we have another piece of trim that's a little wider. So this trim here is 3 inches by 17.5 inches long. And again, you need 4 of those. And then here we have the bottom supports. You need 4 of those, and that'll be 1 inch by 13 inches. And then the last piece we have here is the top frame. And this is 19 5/8 by 3 inches wide. So some of the stuff is the full fence picket width that you just have to cut to length. Other things you got to rip to width. But that's the overall list. So once again, you get 4 of this one. You need 9 of this one, 6 of this one, and then 4, 4, 4, and 4. All right, I'm getting prepared for step 1. Or step 2. Step 1 was ripping everything. So let me show you what I have set up. I'm going to need some 1-inch exterior brad nails and then some wood glue, exterior wood glue. So I'm just using my Type Bond 2 that I have. And I did have to go on Amazon and buy some of these. These were well rated, decent price, 1-inch 18 gauge brads. I didn't have any exterior brads, so this is my first time buying any galvanized brads to run on my gun. So I did get those. I'll put a link to everything I use in the description in case you need something. So let's get these loaded up. And I just got my air compressor filled up so you didn't have to hear that. Okay guys, so step 2, we're going to take these 16-inch sides. So this is 5.5 by 16. We're going to have 4 of these pieces for each side here, I believe. Let's lay it out. No, we're only going to have 3 pieces per side. So the goal here is we're going to glue these and then we'll nail them, and then you're going to have the little bit of feet sticking out at the end. So just got a little brush here. We'll lather on some glue. All right. A little generous on this side, maybe. We'll see. I have to return some of this. Overshot a little bit, didn't we? Okay, all glued up. Let's give her a try. All right, one down. And we'll make a little mark so we get a little bit more glue on. Sorry about that air noise. Okay guys, so here is one of the sides. So that is step 2. I'm going to go ahead and, as we do these, I'm going to go ahead and put them all together for each step, and then I'll go to the next step. Okay, you can see I got the sides completed. Here's the one we're going to proceed to step 3 on. So we'll take the 2 sides, and then we're going to take the 17-inch long boards, and we'll glue and secure these to start to make our square frame. What I found on the previous step is it's best to square them up. You know, start with your top one. Certainly don't put all the nails in. Put a few nails in, get it squared up, and then I started the second board and made sure it was square, because I had one that I noticed this 2x2 was getting kind of out of whack, so I had to take some nails out and redo it. So just make sure as you're going, you're staying good and square on the frame. All right, that's a good amount of glue. We'll do the other side. As you get going, you get a little better feel for the amount of glue you need. this guy, he's from Michigan, where I used to be from, and he has a lot of plans, a lot of bench plans, a lot of planter plans. Just really neat. It's pretty cool when you can get a guy to go through and do the preliminary planning for you, so you don't have to waste material on wrong cuts. So, and then I just wanted to show, taking his plans, how the average backyard carpenter can put it together. So kind of like what I was talking about there, I'm just going to get one started. We'll feel for square down here, and then we'll be able to pivot a little bit more, not be locked in. Now I'll go up here and make sure I'm square. And the same on the other side. And then what I found is, before you get carried away driving all those in, you might as well go down one more. And just make sure you're still tracking. Oh, I grabbed a short board, not what I wanted. Hopefully I did that one correctly. Yeah, be careful because I still have some 16-inch boards left over, and you don't want to grab the wrong ones. Okay, it's starting to look like a box. The glue is definitely a must on this project, especially with those little brads. A little thick on this side, we'll certainly have a little squeeze out. Okay, let's put her together, make a square. right, let's see how we did here. $24 1/8. 24 1/8. Perfect. Okay, we got both of these boxes together since we're doing two. And we're on to step 4, which calls to take this 1 inch by this 13-inch piece and place it in the bottom here and nail it in. This is going to be the rest for the base that goes inside of there. But what I found is, for whatever reason, this 13-inch piece that is in the cut dimensions is a little bit too long. You see that's not sitting in there. I actually need to be at about 12 and a half, 12 and 5/8. So I cut this one here to fit in there. I'm going to continue to cut the rest of them. I don't know if it's because I ripped this 2x4 in half versus, you know, just buying a 2x2. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Let me know if you have an idea, but the nominal size of a 2x2 is 1.5, and I'm measuring 1.5 here. So not sure why this cut dimension isn't exactly right, but no worries. We just need to take a 1/2 inch off of these pieces and we will nail them in. I'm not going to bother gluing these pieces in. All right, there you have it. There's our base for step 4. So this is step 5. I'm going to use our very handy Veritas slide ruler here. So I have it set at 1.5. So we'll make a 1.5 inch mark both directions. So this is what we got to cut out. So then once we get that cut out, that'll go in that corner. And we'll need to do the same thing on this corner over here. Alright, once we cut that out, we can use this as a template for the rest of them, as so long as that fits in there well. Okay, there we go, guys. So I cut those notches out and placed it in there. I just ended up using my jigsaw. I don't have my table saw set up anymore, so I just used my jigsaw to cut those corners out. And what I did find is this was still just a skosh long. So it's good to have your saws still set up because you might have to make some adjustments. I just had to shave just a tiny bit off the end of that 16-inch board with my miter saw. So let's go in with the middle piece. So let's go in with the middle piece and you can see what I mean. So I'm just setting this middle piece in there that we don't have to put the notches in. And it's a little bit thick. Let's see how it is over here. See, that one's just right. So this box here was just a little bit undersized. Not quite as square as this one. That one fits perfect with the 16-inch dimension. But for this box, we'll have to cut that back a little bit. Cedar always cuts so nice. Okay, let's see if this last piece. Okay, let's see if this last piece fits. Looks a little tight. I'm going gonna have to take a little bit off side to side here. I have to take a little bit off of that piece, which again, another reason to just have all your tools still hooked up. I had cut all this material ahead of time, so I don't have my table saw out, but now I need it, it looks like. Okay guys, I got it. I ended up taking the excess off the metal piece, but this is how much I had to take off with the table saw on that metal piece to get it to fit. Okay guys, now we're on to step 6, which is calling for us to put the trim on. So the trim that we cut is in 2 different pieces. We have a 2.5 inch trim and we have a 3 inch trim. So the reason for that is we want to put this 3 inch trim this way. We're going to put this 2.5 inch trim this way. So as you can see, when we're lined up here, we're pretty much in line with the 2x2 on the inside, and then we need the 3 inch on this side to take up the extra space here. So we're in line with the 2x2 on both sides. We do have a little bit of warpage going on here with the frame and everything, so we're gonna have to shimmy it a little bit just to kind of cover that up. So we'll throw some glue on and nail this down. The guy does call for in the plans, you may just want to forego the nails on this. If you were trying to get a cleaner look, you could just get by with glue and clamps, but I'm not worried about that, so I'm just gonna get some glue on here. But I'm perfectly fine with the brad nails. It's a rough planter, so no issue. I'd rather just nail it than have to wait around on the clamps anyway. This is certainly gonna take some glue. And then let me show you down here what happens is this ends up being flush with the feet down there too, to kind of hide them. Much easier, and I think those brads are well hidden, so I don't think that's a problem. All right guys, here we are with the trim on both the boxes. Now that top trim, that's the last step. We haven't done that yet. I just have that one sitting on there, and this is probably going to be the trickiest part because I don't have a pocket hole jig, and that's what he calls for, to put these 19 5/8 inch pieces with the miter together with the pocket hole jig. What I'm going to do, I'll show you on the desk, is I did it on this one. I just put this on the desk or on the bench with some bricks, and I just tacked my 1 inch brads in each corner, and then I'm going to set it on here, square it up exactly where I want it, and then glue it down and nail it on. So not quite the way it's supposed to be, but that's probably going to work best for me for the last step. Okay guys, so this is what I'm talking about. I'm just trying to square this up as good as possible. Kind of use the bricks to bring it in and hold it. And again, I'm just going to get it as square as I can, and then I'm just going to tack it. This is where I'm not a frame maker. I don't have the tools, and it's always tricky getting the 45s perfect. So it's a good thing this doesn't have to be perfect. Sure is a good gap over here, so must be just a little bit off on my 45s. time. Go from the other direction this time. And we'll do this last one over here. Okay, so now as you can see, this is very lightly tacked together. Okay, so I set it on here, I kind of got it where I wanted it, made a little mark. A little bit of this corner is going to be exposed on each one. I'm not sure, you know, if you had the perfect, if it came out perfectly, if this would be completely hidden, but helps me kind of center up where it's going to go on here. And I'm just going to glue it down as best I can and tack it in as well. Let's see if we can't get it on there. I made a little pencil mark in each corner on that 2x2 so I could kind of set it back down. And now I'm just going to go ahead and start tacking it in. Okay guys, there you have it. I don't think they turned out too bad. Had a few little edits here and there, but overall I think they're cute little boxes. So nice little afternoon project. And yeah, I think this top turned out just fine. I got some nail holes in there, but I got it glued down and nailed in. And I'm probably going to paint these a dark brown to match the part of the house trim. But I think they turned out well. So I appreciate you joining me on this. Again, I'll put links to this guy's page in the description, as well as some of the materials I used to build this. And appreciate you tuning in. If this was helpful, go ahead and hit that like button, share it, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.
Hey guys, Tennessee Yankee. Thanks for watching. If you found this content helpful, go ahead and hit that subscribe button on your right. I have other content linked for you on the left side. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Thanks again for watching.